For discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom ma. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. Welcome in. It is a Thursday edition of Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We're off. We're running. It is, well, right now you're looking at 62 degrees in the Tennessee Valley. We're expected to have a high of 78 today. Boy, temperature's going down a little bit. 75 tomorrow. And then on Saturday, wow, a high of only 70 degrees. Going to be a little chilly on Saturday morning. Around 6 o'clock in the morning, only going to be 58 degrees. Should have a little rain around 9:45 on Saturday, but going to be a little chilly one. But still, nonetheless, now's a good time to give our good friends Talkin Heating and Air a call. Before that temperature really starts to rise. We're going to be in the 70s for a little bit, but that temperature is going to go up. Going to get a little steamy, going to get a little hot. 256-503-4490. Let their talent work for you. It's Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, Talkin Heating and Air. Give them a call. Or you can find them online, talenthvac.com. SEC baseball tournament from yesterday, Alabama taking on Tennessee, and the Tide's run in Hoover comes to an end as they fall 15-10 to the Vols. 41-16, Alabama's record. We'll hear from Rob Vaughn here in just a minute on what he thinks the Tide will have a fate coming to them later this week when they announce the NCAA tournament field. But Alabama yesterday, just Tennessee takes the lead. Alabama comes back, gets the lead, can't hold it. Tennessee comes away victorious.
It was a terrible performance on the mound, horrendous. They pretty much threw batting practice the entire game. Give Tennessee credit for coming in locked in. They were aggressive from the jump. Alabama had one good inning where they had a 5-run inning, needed some help from Tennessee with 2 outs. Tennessee made a throwing error that helped Alabama. And Alabama situationally ran the bases horrifically as well. They ran themselves out of an inning. Should have probably scored 3 runs in the third inning as well, but just ran themselves out of it. And just really, they took a very brief 6-5 lead in the 5th, but didn't last long. And they emptied the tank from the standpoint they tried every arm except for Riley Quick and Carson Osmer, at least that they've been trying to use in the second half to the last third of the season, and none of them were effective. I mean, it was just, to me, it's on Jason Jackson. They weren't very good. And they are having trouble competing against elite level competition. The lineup swung the bat pretty good, ended up with 10 hits and 10 runs, and I'll give them credit. They fought to the end. They scored 4 runs in the 9th inning, and but they just didn't square up enough balls like Tennessee did. Tennessee was barreling up just about everything. It was, Tennessee's an elite program right now. Alabama is trying to ascend and get to that level, but certainly not ready right now. And they just do not have the pitching depth and the arms some of these teams do. And, they
and Rob Vaughn said that the reason why Riley Quick did not pitch yesterday was because he pitched longer at Florida. He pitched more innings at Florida. They asked him. He played catch yesterday. Right. He said he felt okay, didn't feel great.
Right.
And Rob Vaughn said, look, we're going to need him next week, but he's also going to pitch in the May. He's a big league pitcher. He's a high volume pitcher that pitches high effort, I should say. Yep. He likes to pitch in the 90s. He wasn't going to risk throwing him out there yesterday because, number one, they need him next week, and number two, of his future.
Yeah, he's going to be a first-round pick, and he throws in the high 90s. I mean, he tops out at 99. Very emotional guy. The best arm they have easily. And again, the regionals is more important than the SEC tournament. We'll see if they cost themselves a host spot by, the poor performance yesterday. Tennessee certainly is back in the mix to host. I don't think they've locked it up by any stretch. Go Longhorns. But certainly Florida. I think Florida's chance to host is done. They got beat last night 3-1 by the Ole Miss Rebels. So I think Ole Miss is still in the mix to host now. And we say all this, but maybe the committee's not even valuing the SEC tournament. We don't know. We won't know that until Sunday when they announce the brackets and in the field of 64, and so to speak. But you would think they would pay attention to it, because if they don't, I think they're stupid. Let me just say that first of all. And I don't like most NCAA selection committees anyway.
Right.
But I think there should be some value on the conference tournament. There sure as hell is for an automatic qualifier, and there should be in the best conference in the country, in the SEC. And that, trust me, I watched some of the Big 12 yesterday. It's like watching the JV. So they're just not very good. I was watching Baylor and Oklahoma State.
Right.
They both look like they suck to me. But I'm just saying they're just not very good. So I just think it should matter. And if it does, then Alabama's still got a shot. But Ole Miss winning, certainly that helps their case. And Coach Bianco and those guys really played well. Now, I think Georgia's already got a national seed locked up. Now, Oklahoma's kind of, they're going to have to win it to even have a discussion. So they're
the only.
But they're playing well. I mean, they sent Georgia home 3-2. Got to give them credit on the mound. Skip Johnson Sooners in their first SEC tournament. They've won 2 games so far.
Yeah, they're the only team to have played on the first day that is still alive. Alabama falls to Tennessee, and then, as you mentioned, Florida falls to Ole Miss yesterday. Now, Texas A&M is still alive.
Yeah, Mississippi
They got to
State,
play Auburn.
They need a new coach. Okay.
Yeah.
Need a new coach.
Mississippi State is full on now in the coaching search as they fall 9-0 to Texas A&M.
I know they've won 9 out of 10, but when some of that is against Missouri, okay, which is not that's another thing that's not going to help Alabama because they beat Mizzou, but Mizzou went 3-28 and is actually going to bring their coach back. They're going to try to better get some NIL money up, bro. If you're going to be better than 3-28 in the conference, but like I said, but again, Mississippi State loses to A&M, but A&M is very talented, though. That's not a team that with Mississippi State losing 9-0, that they're still going to be in the NCAA tournament. The Bulldogs, they may end up being a 3 instead of a 2 now because of the loss. But trust me, A&M's got to win the tournament, in my opinion, to get in, and maybe they can put it all together. They certainly looked great yesterday in dispatching Mississippi State, and boy, it got out of hand quick. Matter of fact, I fell asleep. I thought it was going to be a 7-inning game, and I woke up thinking Alabama, and Tennessee may have already started, but it ended up not starting until 1:15. And of course, I think last night it finished a minute before midnight when the last out was finally recorded by Ole Miss to send Florida home. So again, but the brackets for the most part had held until Texas A&M and Oklahoma pulled their upsets. I don't really consider. In matter of fact, Ole Miss was seated higher than Florida, that being kind of an upset. But, Florida had been playing so hot. But inevitably in baseball, an Ole Miss streak doesn't happen all the time. In Mississippi State in 21 and 22, usually you somewhat cool off. And I think Florida will be a very dangerous 2 seed.
All right, here is Rob Vaughn. Rob Vaughn was asked after the game yesterday on the Tide's resume whether or not he thinks they should host a first-round game.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm not a politicking coach very often. I'm very much go let your work speak for itself. And if you're good enough to do it, you do it. And if you're not, you're not. But it's funny. I'm sitting around the hotel room yesterday, and you're watching the SEC now and all this stuff, and they're talking about all this stuff, and it's like, man, Florida plays Ole Miss and Alabama plays Tennessee, and man, that seems like a host. And the reality is, like, we won 17 games in our league, 17 games in this league. Our RPI, I don't know what it is after today's game, but it's got to be in the top 12 probably at least. To me, it's a no-brainer. This team went out and won every single midweek game all year. We lost one non-conference game all year. We've done some really good things. You win 17 games in the league with the top 12 RPI. I think it's kind of silly that we're talking about, are we hosting, are we not? It should be, where are we being seated in the top 16? Now, within that, it's out of our control. You come here and you win 2 or 3 games, you completely take it out of any committee's hands. But, a lot of these teams that you're seeing kind of as locks to host are teams we played this year or teams we beat this year. And some of these things. So this league's just something different. Believe me, I spent a lot of time out of this league and got super annoyed with every coach that got up here. And I was like, man, you're 2 games over 500 in your league and you think you should host. And then you come walk through this league and you understand exactly why you should host doing that. But like I said, it's out of my control now. Do I think this team's done enough? I don't think there's any doubt. I think that resume should speak for itself, but it's in the hands of the committee now, and we'll get back to Tuscaloosa, get to work, and be prepared for whatever comes next week.
Yeah, and again, they going into the Tennessee game, it was ninth in the RPI. But here's the thing: when you see them breaking down resumes, the only thing they're doing on the SEC now is comparing them to other SEC teams. They shouldn't be penalized by their conference. I can't help it if these other conferences suck. That is not the SEC's problem. Okay, UCLA is playing in the Big Ten now. Washington is playing in the Big Ten now. Oregon is playing in the Big Ten now. Oregon State doesn't even have a damn conference. Boo, hoo. And if they played in this conference, they would get their ass beat. Let's just call it like it is. UCLA and USC could not compete in the SEC. They would get their asses beat. I don't care what anybody says. Bunch of liberal turds. They couldn't compete. USC hasn't done anything since the cows came home. They may have great tradition like Notre Dame 40 years ago,
right,
but they haven't done anything in 30 plus years. Okay. And now all of a sudden, oh, wow, they're near the Big Ten, top of the Big Ten standings. Maybe somebody from the Big Ten should host. That league sucks. You said so yourself, even with the Iowa Hawkeyes being at the top of it. They play no damn body.
No, they don't. They have not played anybody. Their schedule is not very good.
Get on a plane, you're used to it, and come compete in the SEC while the SEC hosts. We've got the best weather, the best fans, the best facilities. I can't help it that you can't compete. Who cares?
I just love the fact that Rob Vaughn says he doesn't politic. He's not a politicking coach. He politicked right there pretty good.
Yeah, and he needed to, because there's been too many people saying, oh, they shouldn't host now. They've won 17 effing games in the SEC, not in the Big 10, the Big 12, or some other sad sack league. I was watching the Big 12 tournament. Was there 5 people there? Maybe 5, and 2 dogs and a cat? Nobody cares. Why do you think Oklahoma and Texas left? Their 2 best brands left. The tournament sucks. Their league sucks. Be a 2 or a 3. Roll the dice. See if you can compete. You're probably going to get your ass beat and go home. I'll just go ahead and guarantee it. There will be at least 4 of the 8 in the College World Series from the SEC. Deal with it. Maybe more than that.
Stamp it. Stamp it and send it through.
With the SEC. Who cares? Not in baseball. Not in softball. It's not going to happen.
Especially now that we have Oklahoma.
I'm sorry. Who won the national championship in basketball again? Who is that?
Big 10?
Oh, no. They haven't won it since 2000.
Big 12.
No, I'm sorry. It was somebody called Florida.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, there you go. The only other baseball league that could even compare to the SEC is the ACC. So just live with it, suck it, and then and I can't help it, you're not going to win. Go on the road. See what real baseball looks like. I mean, I'm sorry, UCLA,
I thought it was interesting
Washington, and Oregon, but you made the decision to go to the Big Ten. You shouldn't be awarded. Oh, we need somebody on the West Coast to balance the field out. Shut up. Your league sucks.
And I thought it was funny that Rob Vaughn even hinted that. He's like, he even said, I got tired of hearing this SEC talk all the time, and then I get here to the league and I find out that if you're over 500, barely, that's an accomplishment.
Right.
It was interesting that Rob Vaughn even said that.
And trust me, SEC is probably going to get 12 or 13 teams in. Okay.
Right.
I don't know about Kentucky. They'll probably get in as a 3, but trust me. And they don't deserve 12 hosts, but they deserve 9 or 10. Okay. And then sort out the rest of the sad sacks and let somebody else, be at home or whatever. But the majority of this top 16 national seeds need to be SEC teams. You don't, we got too many from one conference. Shut up. Look what your eyes tell you. Who are the best teams? Who dominates the College World Series? Who helps you sell tickets and draw eyeballs to it?
All right, I tell you what, let's get our first break in.
Pac-12 used to be the best in softball, but guess what?
Well, yeah, no, there was a time that the SEC did not win one. I mean, it was not the east of the Mississippi.
There is no more Pac-12 because they're a bunch of morons.
That is rightfully so.
What's the old saying? Go woke, go broke. Sorry.
All right.
Be woke, go broke, whatever the hell it is. Stupid liberals.
We're gonna
not in the mood.
We're gonna get our first break in. Oh, we're getting it all in today because we're not doing a show tomorrow. So we're getting it all in on a Thursday. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN. The Zone phone calls coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, We love what we do, and it shows. Visit lifetimeepoxyfloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. If any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000, 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states, will work as before. See website for detail.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your club will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo. You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back on a Thursday morning Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We're holding court until 9 a.m. Got everybody all riled up there talking SEC baseball in that first segment. Don't forget the Auburn Tigers. They're up first today in Hoover. That game will get underway around 11 o'clock this morning. They'll take on Texas A&M. That'll be the last game of the second round.
Yeah.
And then you got two quarterfinal games today, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt. 3 games today from Hoover. Pat from Tuscaloosa is with us, back from the break. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, it's a good thing I wasn't driving. When you said go woke or go broke, I rolled off the bed. My God. Hey, we got to put that on a T-shirt. Wow. Hey, great radio, guys. Great radio.
Appreciate it.
Hey, and want to talk about my Thermala guy that I mentioned to you. He just punched his ticket for the Elite 11 finals in Los Angeles. He had a top showing in Nashville at the Elite 11 camp. And I know you hadn't seen much film on him, but good Lord, does he have all the throws and the touch on a long ball and can absolutely thread a needle.
Well, I know I watched it. I saw him on the basketball court. He's definitely a really good athlete. I saw him throw one down in transition. So I agree with his high school coach. I think he's being a little underrated, and I know he's committed to Iowa State, but he's set up a visit to Alabama already. And, we've seen how this plays out. If Alabama decides to, hone in on him and decides he's the QB for the class, it's going to be hard for a school like Iowa State. No disrespect. Of course, Scott wouldn't care if I disrespected the Cyclones.
No, feel free to do it all you want.
But again, it's just not the same level of football. It's not. Iowa State will never, let's say it again, will never, like Kentucky, make the college football playoff. Sorry.
There's
I think they do.
Small two. Go ahead.
I just don't.
Sorry.
No,
go ahead. I think Iowa State gets there before Kentucky.
Well, I think both of them are going to.
Because I think the Big 12, Iowa State,
Kentucky has had a chance.
Right.
The sad thing for Coach Stoops, he had a couple teams that won double-digit games that would have made an expanded playoff.
Right.
But going forward, I think they're going to have a very difficult time in the expanded SEC. And
that's the thing. Iowa State's in the Big 12. I think
they might.
The path is a little bit easier for them to get through.
Campbell's done a good job there, but it's going to become harder and harder and harder just because of NIL. And even though they're going to try to fix NIL, it's going to be tough to get enough talent to Ames, Iowa, to go to the playoff. They just need to worry about basketball.
Yeah, how do you fix NIL when you get cheaters like Auburn? I mean, goodness gracious. Hey, well, look, let's. I just want to mention the other quarterback that Alabama had offered. He's already contacted Alabama baseball. He's a top 20 or so baseball player.
Yeah, that's the issue, though. Probably a first rounder in baseball.
Yeah, that's what I think he's going to be offered so much money that there's no way he can turn it down.
Yeah, I mean, there are some kids that will turn down first-round money. We've seen them do it for Vanderbilt. Texas A&M's got a kid that turned down a lot of money. Don't know how he's thinking about that now, but, with how that worked out. But you're right. It's going to be very difficult in the end to turn down that kind of money. Even if you have good baseball NIL, going into the professional route out of high school, if you're a first-round pick, is very difficult to turn down.
Now you always go back and get an education and hasn't there been some Major League Baseball players didn't I think LSU had a guy that played professional baseball and came back and played football damn near 30 years old.
John David Booty. He did that. He was out of Shreveport Evangel, and he went the baseball route and came back, and he was a pretty good football player when he came back, but he wasn't great. He was just okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that my quarterback that I found, and I found him before most everybody else did.
Good job, Pat.
Yep. But he's got that Elite 11 invitation. I'm anxious to see how he performs with the big boys. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Pat.
Have a blessed one.
All right, let's get to Brandon real fast as well. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up, Brandon?
I was going to you guys because I sent Drew something last night, and I don't know if Scott's got a chance to see this. And I think it's either wildly accurate or somebody's getting high on their own supply.
Yeah.
And Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Oh yeah.
Talking about they're wanting to run Trevor Lawrence out of Jacksonville and sign Shedeur Sanders.
I think this was before the draft. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Was that before the draft?
It had to have been before the draft. He was telling them that the way I interpreted it, he's like, they need to draft Shedeur Sanders and move on from, and he said people within the organization, some want to move on from Trevor Lawrence, even though they signed him to that big extension now. But again, this is Pac-Man Jones, good football player, but if he was as good as he thought he was, he would be in Canton playing both ways.
Well, and he's still apparently ringing the bell saying that they want to get Trevor Lawrence out of Jacksonville because they feel that he's not living up to the amount of money they paid him. And I'm thinking they paid him, what, $250 million?
Right.
Is that what his contract was?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to move him, where are you going to send him?
Well, I'll just ask Pac-Man Jones this. What about Dak? Does he lived up to the money?
Grief. No, not whatsoever. And to me, you would have made that move before the draft. But let's say here in the off season they do want to make a move. Who can take a $250 million quarterback contract right now?
Not too many.
No.
I mean, and again, all I'll say is organizations give up on quarterbacks way too quickly. Just like if you remember last year when Bryce got benched and everybody's like, oh my God, they've got to move on already in 18 months. And I'm like,
this is why everybody was saying move on.
This is why these general managers, half of them are idiots. This is why the coaches they hire are schmucks who basically all just do the same thing. And that's why the owner of the Panthers is considered an idiot, because you don't stick with a plan long enough and try to help the quarterback and develop an organization.
Well, look in Miami. Before they made the coaching change in Miami, people were saying give up on Tua.
Yeah.
Tua's not durable. He's not going to make it. He's not going to last.
I'll never forget Diana Rossini, who would know more about as much about football as that wall. I don't care who she's employed by. She's sitting there, like, he probably going to get benched within the first 2-3 weeks. They're going to bench him and move on. Then he throws for 4,900, whatever. Half of these insiders don't know anything except an agent's phone number who tells them things and tells them what to say. I'm just telling you, ESPN today, you can't even compare it to the 80s and 90s with their knowledge. These people don't know a damn thing. The analysts all suck. I don't care. We're paying for ESPN to use the call letters, okay? So I will say whatever the hell I want to say. These analysts suck. They don't know anything about the game, whether it's NBA, NFL. They get all these former players now who don't know squat. I mean, you can't compare Tom Jackson to what they got up there now. I mean, are you kidding me?
Adam Schefter?
No, Adam Schefter's an insider. Adam Schefter is one of their few assets. He has taken the Chris Mortensen torch and gone with it.
Right.
He knows what he's talking about, okay? No, this is the Dan Orlovskis of the world. These are not Merrill Hodge type people. These are people that they don't know anything.
Twice today. That's twice today. We are fired up.
When you watch Get Up and all this stuff,
yes.
After you watch it, you're stupider. You got people like Ryan Clark, who's a reverse racist.
Stupider.
And basically all he's talking about is black and white. He doesn't know a damn thing. Okay? He's pathetic.
Cross him off the list.
Wouldn't piss on him if he's on fire anyway.
Well, I've just taken a look at that situation with this money, and you get to a point with these quarterbacks to where even if you wanted to move them, you couldn't unless you ate $100 million. I really and truly don't think that you could move Trevor Lawrence unless you were going to eat a lot of money.
Well,
because the fact that you would want to move him would send alarm bells through the league to everybody. And at this point, but I'm interested to see if he is still there in 2 more years.
And Brandon,
I think that'll tell the tale.
Well, Brandon, I'll just say this. Somebody is using Pac-Man Jones as an analyst, and you mentioned high on your own supply. You answered your own question.
Oh, and I agree with you. I'm just saying that he brought up something that I've been wondering is how many more years are they going to give him in Jacksonville? And I say 2 years from now, we know where he will be there or he won't be there based on the amount of guaranteed money and stuff he's got. Because in 2 years, that will have put him being there, 7 years?
Yeah, and I will say this. They need to help him, though. They need to get him some weapons. They need to get him, a better offensive line, especially because I'm big on that with quarterbacks. They want to blame everything on the quarterback, or because they play well, they want to raise them up. Because Mike Greenberg, for years, he's been saying Justin Herbert was the best quarterback in the NFL. Now people are starting to question him, but I will say this for Harbaugh. I think he will help Herbert. They're going to run the ball. He's going to get him some weapons. I like Herbert. Now, I do think he's a little overhyped at times, but I do think with the way Harbaugh wants to play the game, I think he will help Justin Herbert a lot. I just think overall, though, they've just gotten away, from helping QBs. They think they're just going to throw a quarterback out there like the Falcons, man. They better put some weapons around the QB. If you don't, then Penix is not going to be as good as you think. And I think a lot of that had to do with Kirk Cousins because the offensive line wasn't good enough. They just didn't have good enough weapons around him, and Kirk got hurt. And because he played well early, I still think he's a good player. I don't know why he hasn't been traded, and I think a lot of it is the contract. And I'm going to be interested to see if once training camp starts, maybe an injury happens, if the Falcons are able to get him moved because he's good enough to help someone. I firmly believe that. I think he should be a starter compared to some of the sad sacks in this league. I don't know why Cleveland didn't make a move, but then they drafted, Shadur overrated. And then Daniel, whatever the hell his name is. Dylan Gabriel. I don't even know his name. Whatever. Dylan Gabriel. He's 5'9", whatever. I think he's a nice player, Dylan Gabriel. But I mean, is he a franchise guy? I doubt it. But
I think he would have been had he not gotten hurt in college.
But I will say this too. Sometimes it's the organization you go to because Tom Brady, 6th round pick, 199 overall.
Right.
He goes to the Patriots, stable owner, really great Hall of Fame coach. They put people around him. He ends up becoming one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. And I still think
he had to ride time on the bench,
Brock
too.
Purdy just signed for $200 and whatever million.
Right.
He's one of the highest paid QBs in the league. He is a really good player too, but he's surrounded by good players within a good organization. I still think if that third pick had been Mac Jones instead of Trey Lance, the 49ers may have won a Super Bowl already because they played in 2 with Brock Purdy. And I still think that Mac Jones is as good as Brock Purdy, but by the time he got to New England, Bill Belichick was more worried about chasing tail than he was a coach.
All right, Brandon. Thanks. We are up against a break, bud. Thanks for the phone call.
You have to be if you have a special teams coordinator and a former defensive coordinator as your co-offensive coordinator. Something was wrong with Bill. We should have known.
Going to get a break in. We're going to check in with Kalen DeBoer. Some talk about the wide receiver room there in Alabama. Get a break in. We'll hear from that. And we will throw in a little NBA conversation for a minute. It's all that and more. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
It's been a mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. The vast majority of us going to end up staying dry. Temperatures drop into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. So it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Stuart Evans, mortgage loan officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation in a changing rate environment. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank. It's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit me at our downtown Huntsville office and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. As a reminder, tomorrow morning when you wake up, and there is no more school now. School's out for the summer. Everybody, I believe, had half days yesterday, and at least around the area. I don't think anybody's going today. If they are, I don't really.
What was that one hit wonder for the summer? Out for the summer. I can't even remember the little beat. You know?
Oh my goodness. Gone. That's not. Well, I'm thinking Gone of September.
No, yeah, that's not it.
What
Somebody
is it?
will text in or call.
What is it? On to the Summer?
No, it was. I can't remember. It was not Color Me Bad.
Right.
It was Color Me Awful. But it was something. There was some kind of one hit wonder.
No, not that.
Oh no.
That's in the that's what 50s right there.
Yeah, that's been around, man. This was probably a 90s one hit wonder kind of thing.
I know, but how did it go? How do you think it went?
Man, I'm trying to think of the riff there, but I somebody will text in. I'm trying to remember the rest of the song, but you know, I just it was one of these. It was during that Color Me Bad era.
Right.
They were trying to find.
I'm trying to type in the words, but I can't.
New Kids on the Block, all this crap. But it was just some, you know, I don't know.
On to Summer.
I can't even remember, man. I can only remember kind of the beat, but I can't remember all the lyrics. Some song, you know, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air kind of era.
Summer song.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. There was no colorful language in it.
See, that school's gone for that. That's a class,
right? Yeah, that's another class. Yeah.
I think this is what you were thinking about right here, and I think you hit it on the head when you said Fresh Prince type of thing.
Right.
I think this is it right here.
This is not it. This is one of them. Now, this is the Fresh Prince.
Yep.
Summertime.
That's what the kids are doing right now. They're sitting back and unwinding. I talked to some parents yesterday.
This song's actually better than what I was thinking about.
I talked to some parents yesterday, and they were like, "Oh my God," they were dreading it. They were just dreading it. Oh yeah, because they were like, "This is going to be a long summer."
And now the summer's a lot shorter than it used to be.
It is a lot shorter.
Put that in perspective.
You used to have a lot of time off in the summer. Now, bam, you're back in
You get like a
1st
month
of
and a
August.
half, something like that.
Yeah.
It seems
Wow,
like
2 months.
the general consensus, though, whenever it comes to summertime, is "School's Out" by Alice Cooper. I mean, we've had 2 phone calls already.
Oh, well, that's a good
School's out.
That's another
Okay.
one, yeah.
Alice at school's out for summer.
Yeah, I remember that one. That's another one.
But see, here's the thing, though. We relate to the Alice Cooper one.
Right.
Because it was like you would get in your car or something, and if you had the ability, you would play. I mean, this was something you would do. But what do the kids rally around now when school's out?
Yeah.
What do you like? I mean, this is something we'd listen to. I know teachers probably still listen to that, but I mean, what do kids listen to?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
LFO. I knew somebody would send it. LFO. Thank you, Anthony Sharp. You knew it.
LFO Summer Girls?
Yes. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? That's what we needed?
Yes.
All right. So this is what you were talking about.
Yeah, there we go.
In the summer. Do you remember?
Oh my goodness.
When we met that summer. New kids on the block, had a bunch of hits. Chinese kids on the block. And I think it's fly when girls start for the summer.
Take me back.
I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. I think if I got one wish. Yes. Since that summer, hip hop marmalade spick and span. Met you one summer and it all began. You were the best.
There we
girl that
go.
I can see the great Larry Bird jersey, 30.
Larry Bird. This song got everything for our show. Sums it all up.
Because I can't speak, baby. Something in your eyes when drove me crazy.
This was a bad boy band, by the way. I think they didn't have a lot of hits. I'm watching the video. It's just playing. It's not good.
Fox was Alex P. Keaton. When I met
It's like calling your dad had a cousin.
Fitch.
Oh my goodness. LFO.
Right.
Oh my goodness. There we finally got it. 7:45 on a Thursday morning. What?
See, I forgot the name of the band, but you remember it was a one-hit wonder.
It is a one-hit wonder.
There you go. Even if they did mention Larry Bird.
They mentioned a lot of things in that song. They actually had 2 hit songs.
Did they? They have another one?
Apparently they had 2 hit songs. LFO did.
Yeah, and I again appreciate Anthony Sharp for listening, and he said he really enjoys the show, and he got us on the right track there. See, I knew I had a little bit of one of those things. Guess this song. I had the little riff in my head, but I could not remember.
Oh
the
wow,
name of the band was
LFO. Rich. I think Rich was a member of that band. He died in 2010 with leukemia at the age of 36.
Man.
And Devin Lima died in 18 at 41 from adrenal cancer.
Oh my goodness, that's horrendous.
So they were young, I think, when they
prayers then. Oh my
goodness. One mega hit that a few singers or bands ever Summer Girls. It reached number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and would have been a lot bigger if Carson Daly didn't get jealous of Rich dating his ex-girlfriend. But still was a big hit in the US and the UK.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. So
yeah, I mean, what year was that song again?
yeah. LFO Summer Girls. Need to look over.
Yeah, for me, I was thinking like late 90s, early 2000s maybe, but who knows? Because,
looks like it was released in 1999.
That's what I thought. Late 90s. So I got that one
June of 99.
Right.
As the lead single from their debut album.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
We have gone to LFO.
We have.
Wow.
You started mentioning it's out for the summer, and you start thinking of songs like that. You remember the little riff, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot about the Abercrombie and Fitch though.
I did too.
Shout out to them.
Are they still around?
I think Johnny Boy is nodding
shaking his head. Yes.
I mean,
did they not used to be, or are they still in Parkway Place Mall?
Well, they had I don't think so. They had a store. I mean, I don't, Abercrombie and Fitch.
I think they are.
Oh, are they?
Yes, I think they are. No, it's permanently closed.
See,
it's permanently closed.
So
they were at Parkway Place Mall at one time.
So are we saying we got to go find Abercrombie and Fitch at eBay?
I don't know where you find it at.
I don't know. You probably just have to Google it.
Do kids still wear it? Because everybody used to wear it. Everybody was wanting those Abercrombie and Fitch shirts and stuff.
Parents dreading it. And have those back to school clothes.
Spend all that money, Because back then it was a lot of money to spend, like $85 on a pair of jeans, $95 on a pair of jeans.
And then if you wanted to go the cheap route, you go to Old Navy.
You can buy 3 pairs for $35.
I did for work. I mean, come on. Then your pen would explode and you'd start cussing.
Because you'd have ink spots on your pants.
That ain't coming out, even if you take it to the damn dry cleaners.
No.
Might as well just use those as work clothes, man, or just throw the MFers in the trash.
See, when I was in high school, and it's changed its name, it's morphed in marketing wise because nobody called it this after a while.
Right.
But remember when it first opened, it was called the Brass Buckle. Now it's just called Buckle.
Oh.
But it used to be the Brass Buckle. It used to be Brass Buckle when it first opened.
Yeah.
And that was
Monkey.
That was a place where back home, that's where it was like, that's where you went and got all your stuff.
Right.
Because they had those shirts that you could put on.
Uh-huh.
And remember, it was the ones where if your body, it reacted to your body temperature and it changed colors.
Love it.
Did you ever have one of those?
Hell no, I didn't have one of
you
those.
Could put it on or whatever. And if your body got, it would change colors. The shirt would change colors.
Abercrombie and Fitch either.
All right. 7:49. We were gonna. Let's get to. We're gonna get a break.
You never know where the show's.
We're gonna get a break, and I promise we have Kalen DeBoer talking about the wide receiver room.
We rehearse all this. We don't have some rundown that we're going. We don't have a piece of paper. We just talk sports. Okay. We don't need paper. We don't need to go by a script on this show.
There definitely is no script.
Hell no.
Because we could not have scripted the beginning of the show one bit.
LFO?
One bit. Yes.
We did not. Nobody is going to script LFO but us. And that's not even scripted. We come up with it.
All right. We got to get a break
I like
in.
Summertime better, though. That was a good one.
The Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, and the
Fresh Prince.
Now I just need to see, I just need to see Jeff, somebody open a door and throw him in here. Remember, they should throw him out the door.
Oh, yeah. Man, how many times he get thrown out the door?
Yeah. He'd throw himself out the door eventually.
He would. Yeah, he would.
Him fly.
Yep. All right. Man got scared. I cruised in my head. Now I got that dumb song in my head. I yelled at the cabby, yo home, see you later. Look at my kingdom. I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel Air.
There you go, Uncle Phil.
All right.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for another homestand at Toyota Field, May 27th through June 1st. Promotions include Bring Your Cat Night on the 29th, post-game fireworks on the 30th, and the first 1,000 fans will receive a giveaway item for Harry Potter Night on Saturday, May 31st. Get your tickets for the homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com.
I met you in the summer.
There you go, getting us in the mood for summertime. Temperature's not going to feel like it the next week. It's going to be in the mid-70s.
That's like
for a little
this is
bit,
like a song from a Will Ferrell movie.
kind of. Our good buddy Ross Dellinger, who I was really thinking about texting the other day anyway.
Right.
Hadn't talked to him in a while.
Right.
He catching the college football world by storm again. About 20 minutes ago, put this out there in the world that the college football playoff executives, they are scheduled for a call today. They're going to get on their little telephones where many of them expect to adopt a straight seeding model for the 2025 college football playoffs that would feature a financial compromise. Ross Dellinger breaking this story just a few minutes ago. It does look like that for the 2025 playoffs, or the college football playoffs, there will be a straight seeding model and a financial compromise. Now, the current 12-team format designates the top 4 seeds, best conference champs. Straight seeding model would seed teams by the committee's rankings.
So you mean Boise wouldn't be in the top 4.
Boise probably would not be in the top 4. Now, the financial compromise distributes the same revenue, $8 million,
right?
Okay, to the 4 champions, even if they are not inside the top 4. So
Arizona State wouldn't be in the top 4 automatically?
Arizona State would not be in the top 4, but they would get the $8 million because they would be a conference champion.
Yeah. So, and maybe we wouldn't have somebody stupid like SMU in it.
I don't know if they would be in it or not.
Yeah.
Doesn't get out all the stupidity.
No.
But what it does, though,
I'll just
is
quote Brandon from earlier in the hour. A couple of those folks on the committee, puff, puff, pass.
They probably do. They probably think it's summertime all the time.
I don't know.
But anyway, sitting on their front porch,
Wearing
getting
Abercrombie
fired on a
shirts.
Friday.
Yeah.
But you would have seating now based on resumes and everything else like that, not your automatic buys to the top 4 conference champions.
Now we're getting a lot of tweets in too, man. We got to give a shout out to our listeners who are directing us as to how what's going on with some of these things that we're talking about. So like the Abercrombie and Fitch stuff of the world.
Right.
I think what Nick Miller is saying is I guess they have an app to order. But we'll see. Now, because trust me. And then you were asking about this earlier. Shout out to Dan Strickland. Hypercolor T-shirts.
Hypercolor, that's what they were.
Changing ones, but they were from the 80s. Good stuff.
See, I had one, and I had a Hypercolor shirt.
And then we had people just blowing us up with this LFO.
LFO?
Yeah. Shout out to Nick Miller again about Summer Girls, man.
Okay, they do not have a.
Speaking of Summer Girls, softball. So we're getting ready to talk about with Gray Robertson. That is a great segue.
NCAA softball tournament getting ready to hit the circle, so to speak.
Right.
I was just trying to find the closest Abercrombie and Fitch to us. I will look and I will find it.
This is Brent Musburger's BSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Chris Hale on the mound with the Braves today. $1.55 favor the Nationals and Mackenzie Gore plus 130, 7.5 flat the total. Auburn laying $1.40 in the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover against Texas A&M. Aggies plus 110 of the money line, 10.5 flat the total. Troy meets Texas State in the Sun Belt tournament in Montgomery. The Trojans a $2.70 favorite. Texas State plus 200, 13.5 flat the total. Kyle Larson is plus 550 to win the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's 18-1 to win the Indy 500 as Larson attempts to do the double. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Big thanks to SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. They're helping 256-881-5151. If you want to experience the Sports Med difference, feel free to give them a call. SportsMedAlabama.com is how you can find them online. They are North Alabama's leader. I said leader in sports medicine surgery. Expert diagnosis, treatment, rehabilitation, prevention. They got locations in Huntsville, Madison, Decatur, and Athens. It's Sports Med Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Find them online at sportsmedalabama.com. We've talked a lot about the SEC baseball tournament come Sunday. We will find out who and where everybody is going there. But the NCAA softball tournament is in full swing. They'll be back in the circle for super regional play. And we talked about how the SEC is going to dominate, we think, in teams getting in to the NCAA baseball field. The SEC has already dominated teams as far as regional play goes, and they've dominated as far as super regional teams go.
No, the SEC's in softball. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they've become so dominant that you can argue that they played a role in the Pac-12's disintegration because there is no more Pac-12 that used to dominate the sport so much. The SEC has kind of run away and hid with it. No question about it. It's just absolutely astonishing how good the Southeastern Conference is, and how much even tougher it got with the additions of four-time champion Oklahoma, also Texas, who was a finalist. And then we've still seen our share of shockers. We've seen number 1 overall seed Texas A&M go down. We saw LSU go down. A couple of things we just were not expecting. We're going to talk about that and more, and especially the University of Alabama in their rematch with Oklahoma, who they already took 2 out of 3 from earlier this year in softball. And, of course, if we're going to talk softball, if we're going to talk Alabama softball, we're going to talk about the Talk 2, the Crimson Tide Sports Network's color analyst. He's also co-host with his good friend Tom Canterbury, who is his play-by-play partner of the Out of the Box podcast, which you can also daily listen to if you want to get the pulse of softball nationally. And that's Gray Robertson. He's been kind enough to join us from Norman, Oklahoma right now, which is going to be the epicenter of softball this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Because, again, I guess I'm biased, but this series, I don't really think it's getting enough hype because Alabama won the first go-round.
Right.
But this is 2 legendary programs squaring off, and this will be Oklahoma's first super as an SEC school. And Gray Robertson is going to talk about it with us now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We are doing
good.
Well.
It's kind of funny to think, though, that, I mean, this season either going to continue or it's going to end in Oklahoma because you're playing in Oklahoma now. If you can get through the super regionals, then you're going to be back in Oklahoma for the Softball World Series.
It is a little funny that we're already here. We landed in OKC, and yesterday, as our plane touched down, I got a text from my Softball America boss, Tara Henry, and she was sending our group chat, and she was like, "All right, who's coming to the World Series?" And I need credentials and all that stuff. And I said, "Well, technically, I'm already here, so I hope I'm not leaving. That's the whole plan. Stay in OKC."
Yeah, no doubt. And am I right, though? I mean, Alabama earlier this year takes 2 out of 3, which I thought was as good a series as I saw all year with Patrick Murphy's crew taking 2 out of 3 from Patty Gass. So it doesn't feel like it's getting a lot of pub, though, as far as going into this matchup. Or am I wrong? Because you have the pulse of softball. I know a lot of focus is on the SEC baseball tournament right now, but still, I just don't hear a ton of buzz about it, which is a little surprising.
I think a lot of people have forgotten how dominant Alabama was that weekend, more so than even Alabama winning the series. Because if you break it down inning by inning, Oklahoma was the better team for significantly better for maybe 3 innings.
Right.
Maybe across 3 games. And it was every other inning, even or Alabama had the edge. And I think people have forgotten just how close Alabama was to straight up sweeping Oklahoma earlier this year. So, the reason why, and I understand it, because why would you bet against Oklahoma in the postseason? I get it. They've won 4 straight, national championships. Patty Gasso is the best to do it. But at the same time, ignoring the actual details of that first matchup and just saying, Oklahoma wants revenge. Okay, lots of teams want revenge when you play a team again. But if we look at the finite details of that first matchup, Alabama was the better team for significant portions, most of that series. And I do think that that's gone a little bit under the rug, just a bit.
Have you seen since that series then, how have you seen Alabama? I mean, have they progressed at all even more? Have they gotten better from that series, or have they kind of plateaued a little bit?
I think there are some areas that have definitely progressed and some where we're still kind of in a wait and see mode, which isn't what you necessarily want to be in a super regional. And that's why Alabama's a 15 national seed. But that was kind of the first weekend where the defense became a true strength.
Yes.
Because, early in the year, defense was kind of a liability. People were getting used to new spots, working with each other. The chemistry was building. Against Oklahoma, your defense has to be so sound because they barrel everything up. They hit the ball extremely hard. They put a lot of pressure on you with their power. And Alabama's defense answered the bell. And from then on, the defense has been, I think, arguably the best facet and the most consistent facet of this team. So that's an area where you've seen significant improvement since that series. I think that was a big confidence weekend for pitching. There have been, some shaky moments here and there since then, but I think for the most part, pitching has been pretty consistent. And I think the offense has been kind of hovering around the same area since then. OU was such a great job of executing a game plan, and I thought they did well to hit Sam Landry like they did in that series. And game 2, when they hit all the other pitchers, was one of the best games Alabama's played all year. But it has not necessarily been that way every single day after teams have made secondary adjustments to Alabama's adjustments against their pitchers. And that's something that I'll be watching out for this weekend, because you're getting another crack at Sam Landry, probably Kirsten Deal or Audrey Lowry for game 2. And you've seen them before. So hopefully we'll see the offense continue to make strides and execute a good game plan against those arms.
And another, I think one of the players that we've seen kind of emerge is Salem Hawkins. I mean, she's made some of the best defensive plays I've ever seen an Alabama shortstop make. And she had big shoes to fill transferring from Mississippi State because Kinley Cahalan moved on. But I think she's more than filled them, Gray. I think she's had a really good year.
I would totally agree. I think of the 9 years that I've been covering this program, I think Salem's probably the most effective shortstop I've seen. And that's no slight on anybody else. Alabama's had good shortstops since 2017 when I showed up, but Salem's range and her athleticism are just really, really impressive. And honestly, it kind of reminds me, vibe-wise, of when Ashley Prangy came to Alabama, because, you had a lot of talented transfers this year, and Salem Hawkins was added to the list, and you're like, oh, cool. All right, you get this, Mississippi State kid who was a starter, and I don't think anybody really knew what Alabama had until she's stepped on the field. But she's been a consistent hitter who's been hitting between 320 and 290 since February. And honestly, at the bottom middle part of the order, that's perfectly fine. You will absolutely take that. And the defense has gotten better and better each and every week. And, that's kind of what the Prangy edition felt like. She basically came in at the same time as Allie Shipman. Everybody's like, wow, we got Allie Shipman. How awesome. And also here comes actually Prangy from Ohio State. And it turns out that Prangy was just as good as Allie, and both of them made such a dynamic impact in the field and at the plate. So I think as Salem continues to get better, next year is going to be really, really fun, and hopefully so is the end of 2025.
Mm-hmm. So then you look at this series with Oklahoma. What then does Alabama need to do the best? What do they have to do to come away with 2 wins? I mean, it's a tough task to go to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma has, they have a beautiful venue. It's a beautiful complex. It is a home field advantage for the Sooners.
Yeah, I've been pretty steadfast all week in the thing that I feel is the most key, and it's giving up nothing, no extra bases, walks, hit by pitches, errors. Those are the wild pitches as well. Like any way for OU to get extra outs or extra 60 feet, that can't happen, because what they do better than anybody else in America and have for a decade is cashing in on your mistakes. If you have made an error against Oklahoma in the past, you can basically walk off the field. Like we've seen errors lead to 7-run innings so many times. If you walk 2 people, odds are that third person's hitting it out of the yard. So Alabama's got to make sure that there are no extra bases, no extra 60 feet, that you give Oklahoma nothing. You have to make them earn it. And I think if Alabama's able to do that, they can definitely win 2 games this weekend.
We're talking to Gray Robertson, Crimson Tide Sports Network, Out of the Box podcast as well. Outstanding covering Alabama softball, but also the sport nationally. He's as keyed in as anyone we talk to. And Gray, I wanted to say this too. Another player that I've been really impressed with the second half of the season. Coach Murphy always talks about big hits in the postseason. Get that big hit, come through in a clutch situation. She certainly did in the regional against Virginia Tech. Lauren Johnson, she hasn't been an everyday starter, but I would say if you got someone up there, Callie Hevlin, we're going to talk about her in a second, but Lauren Johnson has come through clutch a ton for this squad.
She really has, and she is, like, if I were a coach, I would tell the story of Lauren Johnson all the time, because what she's done to get to where she is in the 2 spot on a super regional team is really, really impressive. At the beginning of the year, when we do our season premiere podcast and we do our end of the fall pod, we break down potential lineups. And as the season started, Lauren was maybe the second outfielder out of the starting lineup. And she just kept taking advantage of her chances. She would get pinch hit moments. She would get starts in the non-conference, and she just kept delivering. And she's made the catches. She's gotten the hits. The 2 spot, I think, really suits her because of her versatility. She can lay down a bunt. She can hit gap to gap. She can slice up the middle. I've just been really impressed by how hard she's worked and how much she's done in practice and off the field to really earn that spot. And now here she is, like you said. It always feels like when there's a big moment and Lauren Johnson is up, she's going to deliver. And that is a really, really impressive thing about her.
What does this say about Patrick Murphy, though, getting another team to the super regionals?
It says that this is a very consistent program. I think a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to do this, to make 95% of the last 20 super regionals. No program's done that. And, it doesn't always go beautifully from here, but to get to that point, to have the opportunity to go to the World Series, not many teams can say that. You mentioned some programs earlier, seeded SEC teams who are done right now because they weren't able to win in regionals. As the sport has gotten better, it is so much harder to win. And Alabama, outside of 2022, has just kept doing it for the last 20 years. And I think people don't understand how difficult that is, but it's something that none of us who cover this program take for granted at all.
Well, and you bring up a great point. How stunned were you? I certainly was, but I also had to take a shot at some of the critics because Alabama lost 7-6 to Liberty early in the year. Oh, it's embarrassing. How can this happen? And then you see them knock off Texas A&M. I mean, how can you even question that now? And it goes back to what Coach Murphy does scheduling-wise, where they play as tough a schedule as anyone in the country.
I was blown away. I mean, I can't quote some of the things I said because I don't want y'all to get fined.
Yeah, we can't do it.
Yeah, we've been told that we can't do that anymore.
If they'd let me, Lord, I'd left.
When Rachel Roop hit the 3-run homer to go up 6-3 on Texas A&M, I texted Nicole Mendez, who was calling the game for ESPN, and I was like, can you believe this? And she said, no. I mean, it was unbelievable how prepared they were for Emily Kennedy. Every time Emily Kennedy was in the circle, Liberty was lighting her up. That is an All-American who will be playing pro softball in about 3 weeks, who was a first-round pick. And it was one of the most impressive, I think, prep things I've ever seen in the sport. Like A&M had no answer for Liberty once they, threw a couple right hooks at their ace. And, pleased for Dr. Dot because they have dealt with years of heartbreak in regional finals. And I felt like they were about to deal with it again. And they just kept fighting. And now they're in a super regional, which is a major credit to that program. And Dr. Dot Richardson, who's got, by the way, if anyone listening wants to look it up, one of the craziest bios in the history of ever. I mean, if you look, she has done it all. She's been a doctor and an Olympian, and she's a record setter and a softball head coach. Like she's done just about everything except coach the Flames to a super, and now she's done that too.
Yeah, and I know you weren't as surprised, and I wasn't either with Southeastern Louisiana putting out LSU, just simply because Southeastern Louisiana, we saw them up close give Alabama all they wanted a year ago.
I was surprised in one facet, and that was LSU's decision making. Watching that game, because Southeastern, like you said, puts pressure on you. They make you make decisions. They make you have to just do things. They're going to put the ball in play. Their speed's going to cause chaos on the bases. And I was stunned how many times LSU made the wrong decision. Throwing home on a first and third when she's clearly going to be safe anyway. Just pitching plans. Like I was stunned about that part. But that Southeastern would be an issue in the postseason? Absolutely not. We warned all the people last year. We said at the end of the regional final, Godspeed to you if you ever have the Lady Lions in your regional. And unfortunately for LSU, they learned that the hard way this year.
And now, as we're wrapping it up with you, we could talk with you for the rest of the hour. It's fascinating. But what is the keys in your mind for Alabama to shock the world again? Because I think they really did the 12th, 13th, and 14th of April when they won 2 out of 3 and almost swept OU. For them to do what they did to Tennessee last year. Nobody gave them much of a shot in the Supers in Knoxville, and they won. I know your stars have to be stars. Audrey Vandergrift's been unbelievable, been an All-American. Callie Hevlin, that's really been your 2 big-time stalwarts. But what needs to happen? Does a wild card like Marley Giles need to have a big weekend? What, in your mind, what needs to occur?
Well, definitely the extra base thing, the free base thing I said earlier, and I think you're exactly right. You're going to need consistent production 1 through 9. Situational hitting's got to be pretty good. Even if it's a 2 for 10 game with runners on, if those 2 are impactful, then I'll take it. But you just got to be able to produce. If you've got the bases loaded, you have to convert. Cal last weekend twice against Oklahoma in the Saturday game had the bases loaded, didn't score. You can't do that. You can't do that against Oklahoma because that basically feeds the machine, especially here. So you've got to convert on your chances, and you've got to, I think, throw the first punch. The crazy thing about Oklahoma's roster this year, their program has been here so many times. They've got the intangible. They know how to win in the postseason. The roster, they've got 3 kids who've ever had a super regional at bat, 4 kids, I believe, and Sam Landry's thrown 4 1/3 career innings in a super regional. Kirsten Deal's thrown 4. So there are a lot of Sooners on this team who have not dealt with that pressure before. And super regional pressure is very different than anything you face in regionals or the regular season, just like World Series pressure is very different from what you'll deal with this weekend in a super. And I think Alabama's actually, with that experience edge just a bit, Alabama can maybe hopefully harness that and throw a punch against OU and kind of make a statement early, because the thing that you have to do that Alabama did well against Tennessee last year is introduce doubt. Oklahoma right now has 0 doubt. Oklahoma thinks they're going to win this weekend. You have to introduce doubt into the minds of the opponent, of the favorite, because that's when they start to tighten up. And if Alabama can do that, then you're off to the races, and we'll probably have a great weekend of softball to call and watch up here in Norman.
Well, I'm telling you what, you need to watch the cam with Tom and Gray. This is
good.
Great
It's
stuff.
fun. It's good stuff.
The reactions are priceless, man. I know he's got it at the top of his X account, but I was watching some of it when they beat Virginia Tech. I mean, it was just great theater. It's going to be a great call. You and Tom Canterbury listen to those guys and then watch it on ESPN2 at 4:00 Central on Friday, and then 2:00, I believe, on Saturday. And Gray, I'm counting on this at the least going 3 games. When would the 3rd game be? Is that to be determined?
We have no idea. Depends on everybody else. My assumption is it would probably be, a singular window maybe. They would probably want to throw it afternoon or evening on Sunday, but who's to say? I mean, it's a great weekend of softball. It starts tonight. Florida State, Texas Tech, which we have not talked about, might be the best super of all of them.
There you go.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll find out once we get there if that's what the plan is.
Well, the SEC has been dominant so far. Y'all have a great call, and I hope you're in Oklahoma for a month. But good luck to you, sir. And we always enjoy the conversation. Thank you for taking the time.
Hey, I packed for 19 days, so I'm good to go. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Let's get the break in. Talking Ball going to continue right after this. Good stuff. Good stuff.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fired grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
It just works. Picture this. You're at home doing whatever it is you do. Then the power goes out. Then what? Well, at my house, life goes on. We have a Generac automatic home standby generator from Current Electrical and Generator Services. For your home security and peace of mind, get a free personal consultation on how a Generac automatic home standby generator can protect you. Current Electrical and Generator Services. Call or visit us on the web at HuntsvilleGenerators.com. You've got the power.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
The Atlanta Braves. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Line shot left field. Around third base, Albies. Here's the throw from Lux. Not in time. Braves win as the rookie walked it off in 11 innings.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know me. I didn't watch anything but the highlights, but it wasn't it cool for Reggie Miller to watch his own choke be
Teams
reenacted.
trailing by 7+ points in the final 50 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime in the playoffs since 1996 and 97.
Yeah.
4 and 1,702. The the Indiana Pacers have 3 of those
I know. And
wins.
Tyrese Halliburton, he reenacted Mr. Reggie Miller, even though it turned out his foot was on the line, but they still won in overtime.
The Knicks blew a 14-point
Pacers.
lead with 2 minutes and 39 seconds left to go, becoming the first team in the play-by-play era since 1997, they call it, to lead a playoff game by 14 points with 2:45 and lose.
I've always been a Tom Thibodeau fan, but your ass should be fired.
The record of teams in that position had been 994-0.
That is absolutely unacceptable. 14-point lead with 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
Yes.
Anybody should be fired.
Yes.
Anybody. I don't care if it's John Wooden. Bob Knight, whoever. They would never blow it. Are you kidding me? Give me a break with this.
14-point edge with 2:39 to go, and they lose.
Horrendous.
Tom Thibodeau said after the game, we got to be ready for game 2.
And stop choking. But hey, it was the Knicks, so why do I give a rat's crap?
They reeled off 20. The Pacers reeled off 23 points in the final 3:14. They end up winning 138-135 in overtime.
Well, my first question when I saw the ending of it was, did his dad make a TikTok or something? Because he probably wasn't allowed to be in the Madison Square Garden.
Reggie Miller, by the way, for those that don't remember, 8 points in 8.9 seconds for Reggie Miller.
That was so amazing. I hated it. I still hate him. And I mean, I was watching that, and you knew Reggie would be ready. He had it ready to roll right at Spike Lee,
Well, and it was so funny last night, Reggie Miller, that the cameras caught him pointing and kind of giving that stare to Tyrese, kind of like, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I loved it a lot more than having listened to Chris Burke's UT infomercial on the SEC tournament. Why the hell he gets to do a Tennessee game, I'll never know. But
or listening to an Alabama broadcast now on baseball.
Well, yeah, what they ought to make people do is Kurt Bloom should have to call the game with Chris Burke, and then just everybody run off the road.
Oh, Alabama fans, they're not liking Kurt Bloom right now. The voice is not working.
Horrendous. Hey, what about this guy? He's such a great player now outside the ball one. And then, he did this and that, and his dad was this, and it struck three. Like, what happened to the other 3 pitches, you goofball? If people are bad, you're going to call them out. I'm sorry.
You have been doing that for 1 hour and 28 minutes today.
I could give a rat's crap. They're blocked. You know what I'm saying?
You've been calling out
Shout out to
people
Bray
all
Hubbard's
day.
burner. He's blocked.
Oh.
Chris Woosley's blocked. Sorry.
Chris Woosley's blocked.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, he's been blocked forever.
Oh, he has been. He's a coward, too, by the way.
If Spencer had one, he'd be blocked, too.
I haven't blocked Spencer. I just, whatever.
No?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
He got his Super Bowl championship. Hope he's enjoying it.
All right, well, 8:30. Well, close to 8:30 on a Thursday morning. You're getting it all in today because we're not going to be here tomorrow. That's what it is.
We'll probably use the second hour, though. We definitely with the LFO and all that stuff.
I don't know. The first hour was pretty good.
We can just replay this show. And people will still be laughing.
The first hour was.
We could.
The first 15 minutes was pretty good.
This show.
When you're coming in saying, "I'm not in the mood," I'm not in the mood.
I mean, seriously, none of this is going to be dated from that standpoint. Hardly at all. Alabama hasn't played in softball, and then we're going to talk to Joe Healy in a second about these regionals in the Sun Belt and in the SEC. I mean, we could make it really easy on Johnny Boy and make people laugh again. We've been talking about Abercrombie and Fitch, LFO, terrible broadcasters, both on TV and radio.
And we've been just talking about idiots.
Yeah.
The NCAA committee.
Mm-hmm.
Idiots.
And there's nothing better than the Knicks losing.
And we've even used the word stupider today.
Wow. Only thing we haven't talked about is the Huntsville Astros. Who? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look, I tell you what. There's some stupid people right there. I mean, what was it? The Alabama Beavers?
I don't know.
Ran by somebody. They were organized by a guy out of Mobile that is a red flag coming.
Red flag!
He's a red flag coming whenever you see his name. People around the state know this guy, and they know he's a red flag. But somehow we got associated with this guy from the Alabama Beavers.
It's like they wanted to make American Pie 3 or something. The Alabama Beavers.
Yeah, it didn't work. That's not what I was thinking.
Well,
that's okay. We'll talk. Let's just go to break. Joe Healy can join us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
It's been a mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. The vast majority of us going to end up staying dry. Temperatures drop into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. A partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an fighting organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, coming up here in just a minute, Joe Healy going to join the program. We're going to talk some SEC baseball, Sun Belt baseball. Real fast, do want to talk ASUN baseball for just a smidge because congratulations to the North Alabama Lions. They got their first ever ASUN tournament win yesterday against number 4 seed North Florida, 14-11, the final there. It was North Alabama's first postseason win during the Division I era. Their last postseason win, Drew, for UNA baseball came during the Gulf South Conference tournament in 2017. That was their last postseason baseball win. They get one yesterday. They will play today against Austin P. The Thursday game between Austin P and Jacksonville. They're going to play on Friday, my bad. Austin P. Jacksonville plays today. UNA gets the winner of that one on Friday. Another elimination game for the Lions. But still, congratulations to them. They get it done yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And our next guest, he has been live at Riverwalk. Great facility, by the way, underrated, for the Sun Belt Conference Championships. He also covers the SEC very closely. We have had him on in the past to give us his college baseball thoughts. I reached out to him yesterday. I believe he's still in Montgomery covering the Sun Belt Conference, which is one of the better mid-major baseball conferences in the country. They can compete with just about anyone, a lot of their top-level teams. But we're going to talk with him right now about that and about some SEC thoughts, because I know he's keeping abreast of that from afar. But we're going to talk right now to Joe Healy. Joe, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good to be with you guys. Yeah, fun time of year, busy time of year. I'm actually bouncing between the two locations, Hoover and Montgomery. Just nice. No real plan, just kind of like every day looking at the schedule and deciding which direction I want to go. So
hey, you got a little flexibility, man.
Yeah, latest day was in Montgomery, and you're right. It was a great facility, great tournament. So looking forward to talking about that as well.
Yeah, what about the Sun Belt? We've talked a lot about it, because at one point Troy was one of the only teams in America that had not lost a weekend series. Southern Miss along there as well, but
then they ran into that juggernaut.
Yeah, right, that's a good conference.
Yeah, no doubt. Like the top of it, as Drew mentioned a second ago, like the top of it is, would fit right in the SEC. I'm not saying they'd be right up there at the top, but they certainly would be competitive within the SEC. And so, yeah, you talk about Troy. They've hit the skids a little bit lately, and they're kind of in a fringy spot with regards to being an at-large. They need to win today against Texas State. If they lose it, I think they're probably just out on the wrong side of the bubble. They just kind of got cold at the wrong time, and it's just been a flawed team. You mentioned not losing a series for this long stretch of season, but the other thing about it is they were playing some of the bad teams in the Sun Belt, and they weren't sweeping any of them.
Right.
So their RPI was taking a hit because they were losing one game every weekend, whereas Coastal and Southern Miss were sweeping more teams. And then Troy struggles with starting pitching. Like it's still a very good team, but the issues they've had have just kind of cropped up at the wrong time of year. But Southern Miss and Coastal, Coastal's a lock to host at this point. Southern Miss, if they get to the final or win the tournament, I think is in the discussion to host. We'll see what happens there. But both teams are really complete teams that I think have a chance to be Omaha teams. Now we'll see. Southern Miss has kind of been on the doorstep a couple times in recent years and can't quite break through. And Coastal hasn't been since they won it all that time. But this is neither of these teams. If they pop up in your super, or if you see them in Omaha, they're not really going to want to be. They're not going to be a team you want to deal with.
And then with Southern Miss, they're the two-time defending tournament champs, and I believe they've won 16 in a row.
Yeah, the program record, 16 in a row for Southern Miss.
Wow, that's amazing. What has impressed you about them is they just seem. I know Alabama beat them earlier in the year, 10-6. They also beat Coastal. We'll talk about those two wins and what they could mean to the tie here in a second. But Southern Miss, they've always been a very strong program. I was watching the SEC tournament last night. It was brought up during that 2000, in 22 run for Ole Miss to win the national championship, that they had to go to Southern Miss in the supers to beat them as they stayed on the road, won the regionals of 3 at Coral Gables, and then had to go to Southern Miss.
Yeah, like that's the thing too, is Southern Miss is one of the places that has actually been able to twice host SEC teams at their place in Hattiesburg for super regionals, because Tennessee also went through there 2 years ago, I believe. But yeah, so what's impressive about them is that all of the things that Southern Miss has traditionally done well, they still do well. They have an ace in JB Middleton that they feel like gives them a chance to beat anybody in the country, and I think they're right. They've got good pitching depth. They have quality veteran bullpen pieces. Cross Sibley through yesterday, and it feels like he's been there forever. But what's different about this team that they haven't always done well is this is a team that can score runs. Like in the past, it's been an issue. That super regional against Ole Miss, they played 2 games, scored a total of 0 runs.
Wow.
And that's kind of always been the question with the Golden Eagles is, look, we know the pitching is going to keep them competitive, but are they going to be able to score at all? And this year, this is a team that can score runs in bunches, and that's a little bit new for USM. They've got some pop in the lineup. They've got some athleticism. And then they're always a team that plays pretty fundamental, so that they're not going to beat themselves. And that's obviously in the postseason. That's such a huge thing because the miscues in the postseason are they totally deflate your team. And so I think they're in a good spot. Really well-rounded team. Obviously you want to host, but man, if you don't, like I'll put it this way. No one is rooting harder other than Southern Miss fans for Southern Miss to host than SEC teams. Because you don't want them as you don't want them in your regional. You just don't, because they're used to maybe, they still have to go on the road quite a bit in regionals, and they play well. I mean, they went to Auburn in 23 and won that regional. So that's just not a team you want to see. So SEC teams are kind of silently rooting for, hey, let's get them in their host spot so we don't have to worry about them coming to us.
Well, there's a lot of SEC teams that don't want to see Sun Belt teams, period, because of the geographical locations. A lot of these schools, these midweek games are easy to play because of the travel, and the Sun Belt is good. So, I mean, there's a lot of SEC teams right now playing in Hoover that don't want to see Sun Belt teams, period, in the postseason.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. The intimidation factor is just not there as much because these Sun Belt teams play good schedules and they go to SEC clubs and they play them every year. And so they're not going to show up, to whatever SEC park. They're not going to show up and get intimidated by the atmosphere, intimidated by the talent. It's just kind of another game for them. And, you see that with the way Coastal Carolina plays, by the way. Like I've seen them a couple times this year. And one thing that stands out to me, and this isn't just me saying this, I was talking to a scout yesterday that I know in the stands, and he said, look, the thing about Coastal Carolina is, like, I actually think I might like the talent of Southern Miss's team better, but Coastal Carolina plays as clean a baseball as I've seen all year. Like, every play gets made, every single they're going first to third, every single they're going second to home. They're always taking extra bases. And here's the deal too, like the stereotype of Coastal is, look, they can hit with anybody, but how much are they going to pitch? Well, this year they have one of the best pitching staffs in the country. I wrote about it last night. They've got 3 starting pitchers who all have ERAs of 3.5 or better, including Jacob Morrison, whose ERA is under 2. They've got 6 different relievers who have ERAs of 3.37 or better, who have pitched in 16 or more games. So it's a deep bullpen. And then, on the offensive side, Caden Bodine is maybe the best catcher in the country, and, switch hitter with power from both sides of the plate, very good defensive catcher. And they lead the Sun Belt in runs scored, even though they're not as physical as they've been in the past. They used to be very homer dependent, not so much now. They also lead the country in wins, of 45 wins for Coastal Carolina. So, like I said, they're a lock to host. I can't imagine they don't host, which, again, to our point we just made, is a sigh of relief for everyone else.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to deal with Coastal until later on in the postseason.
It's hard to believe, though, that we're 9 years removed. It's about 9 years removed from them being Coastal winning the College World Series.
Yeah, 9 years has really flown by, and it's been a little bit of a journey for Coastal since then. I think that it took them a little while to adjust to a different reality in college baseball as things changed. And we talked about, NIL stuff, the transfer portal, all that stuff. Like, it's taken them some time to kind of adjust to that, but they've steadied the ship. And now they're as good as they really ever have been, right? I mean, and they have a lot of things going for them, right? I mean, they got the facilities. The administration is clearly invested in making Coastal Carolina baseball good. And who wouldn't want to play their college baseball essentially on the beach? So, they've got a lot going for them, but they really take advantage of what they got.
And it's interesting with both programs, with Gary Gilmore retiring, and then Scott Terry, and before that, Corky Palmer. Both these programs, Southern Miss and Coastal, have promoted from within, and it seems to have been a seamless transition.
Yeah, I think that's right. Both guys, longtime assistants, Kevin Schnall at Coastal Carolina, Christian Ostrander at Southern Miss, were just the obvious candidates. They'd been kind of in the right-hand man of these longtime head coaches. And the transition seems like, nobody's missed a beat. So that doesn't always work that way. So those two programs, I think, did a really good job of getting those guys ready. And now they really haven't slowed down.
They really haven't. And with and before we switch to the SEC, Joe, to Southern Miss to host, they need to win the tournament.
My hunch is yes. Especially because they're seeded 1 and 2. They're on the opposite side of the bracket of Coastal, so they're not going to get a chance for like a really impactful win unless they win the tournament. So the RPI is not going to move much unless they get a chance at Coastal. So I think they need to help themselves. I also think they probably need a little bit of help. They're probably rooting for TCU to get eliminated in the Big 12 and BBU to get eliminated in CUSA, stuff like that. Like it is going to take some moving pieces for them to get there, but I do think there is a little window.
Mm-hmm. And then with Alabama, they beat Coastal during the regular season. They beat Southern Mississippi. We had the audio from Rob Vaughn after yesterday's disappointing 15-10 loss to Tennessee. He thinks they should still be a host, and they did beat some really good SEC squads and some of these key wins outside of the schedule. They also beat NC State. In your mind, you work for D1 baseball. They don't have Alabama hosting, but does Alabama have a shot? What do they need to happen right now?
Yeah, they do. They do have a shot, and my buddy, your friend and mine, Mark Etheridge, wrote about this morning about the fact that if Alabama doesn't host, it's going to break precedent with what's happened before. They would be as of right now, they're sitting at 11 in RPI. That would be the highest if they don't host. That would be the highest RPI of an SEC team with a winning conference record to not host. Vanderbilt had a 7 RPI a couple years ago, but they were under 500. In SEC play. Texas A&M in 2019, I believe, had a 17-15 record after the tournament, and didn't host with an RPI of 15. Alabama is the highest RPI winning conference record to not host if that ends up being the case. Now, that being said, like they're still very much in the mix, right? Like they are. The committee could look at this and say, look, yes, it is kind of a logjam, and yes, we're shoving a lot of SEC teams into hosting because I think if Alabama's in, then you really have to take a harder look at Ole Miss, obviously, or a team like that. I do think there is a chance where the committee looks at this and just says, look, this is a different SEC. This is an SEC that we need to evaluate as not just the best conference in the country, but leaps and bounds the best conference in the country, and we need to give a commensurate amount of host spots and at-large spots, right? So, so I think they're in the mix. However, here's the thing: like the committee is made up of human beings, and the troublesome thing for Alabama, for me, is just that now we're going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days of games involving teams not named Alabama, and human nature is that you kind of forget about these teams that haven't played deep into their conference tournaments. And so I do wonder, especially if Tennessee continues to win games, they've got a real big opportunity with Texas today. If Ole Miss continues to win games, if Georgia Tech in the ACC tournament continues to win games, if that stuff starts to happen, I do just wonder if by the end of the week, it just feels like Alabama is a little bit forgotten in that mix.
And is Auburn, what do you feel about Auburn? What
they're playing this morning.
They played this morning. Obviously, they've had an extra day's rest, but where do you stand on the Auburn Tigers?
Yeah, certainly going to play home baseball in regionals. The question is going to be top 8, and they're going to be, no matter which way it goes, they're going to be a polarizing case. Now, if they make a deep run here in Hoover, they'll be a top 8, nobody's going to have an issue. But as it stands right now, let's say they lose today. Well, their RPI is 1. It's not going to move that much. Maybe it drops to 2 or 3. But you guys know this. In the past, the top 8 seeds have all been pretty closely aligned with the top 8 in RPI, for better or worse. That tends to be the way that goes. And Auburn's a team that has the number 1 RPI, but their conference record is worse than, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Texas, Arkansas, LSU. They're 1 game better than Bama, Tennessee, and Ole Miss, and we're talking those teams aren't even close to being top 8s right now. So it's a weird resume. I think if you get a win today, then you get to tomorrow. I think Auburn's probably in that kind of 7 to 10 range, and I think it could go either way. Right now, with the number 1 RPI, I think if it stays like that in 1 or 2, I really like their chances to get a top 8 seed because it feels like the type of deal where is it just too? Are the optics too weird on having a team that's top 2 or 3 in RPI and not give them a top 8? I don't know if that's going to matter to the committee, but I do know the optics of that would be weird. And so I kind of think that if they're able to win today and keep alive at least for another day here in Hoover, I like their chances. But this season has just been weird in the SEC. You guys know that. And so I am kind of prepared for some surprises when it's said and done.
And finally, Joe, it sounds like you're back in Hoover. Who do you like in this tournament? I think it's pretty wide open.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I've been saying Arkansas for a couple of reasons. One is just that I think their best is better than anybody else's best, when it comes right down to it. And they don't even play until tomorrow. They haven't played a game yet.
That's weird.
Yeah, so there's just this new format with single elimination and that, some teams don't, LSU doesn't play till tomorrow either. So I like that Arkansas can play this out like a series.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're at most going to play 3 games, and that's if they win, if they get to the final and have a chance to win it. So I like that they can just treat this like a regular old series. You start, you Friday guy on Friday, Saturday guy on Saturday, Sunday guy on Sunday. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to spend a lot of time worrying about what we're going to do on the mound. I just think you can go out there and play, and that's different than it's ever really been in Hoover. That's different for any team that's played yesterday, that's playing today. And again, I just think their best is better than anybody else's best. So I like Arkansas, but you're right. Like, shake these teams up, and including A&M, shake them up in a bag and spill them out and pick a name. And sure, that team could win the SEC tournament. Like, there's no reason they can't.
Well, great stuff. We appreciate you reconnecting with us, Joe. Let everybody know how to follow you in your coverage this week.
Yeah, the big thing is go to d1baseball.com. All my work there, both from the Sun Belt and the SEC. If you want just the SEC stuff, click the SEC Extra tab at the top of the page. And you can follow me on social at Joe Healy D1.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, fellas, take care.
All right, final breaks now. Headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. If any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000, 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, just remember, we're not doing a show tomorrow morning.
No, but we'll make people laugh anyway.
Yeah.
We're taking a 4-day weekend, everybody.
Oh, that's right. We don't have to do one Monday, too, do we?
Everybody enjoy their Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe out there. Hopefully we'll have good weather.
Well, we need good weather because we got the Cotton Row Run coming up.
Yeah.
So I know we got a lot of people listening to the show that are getting their 5K, 10K bodies ready to go for a little jog through the streets of Huntsville.
Yes, absolutely.
And the hill, by the way, if you've not ran
45
Cotton
years
Row
for the
Run,
Cotton Row.
yeah, if you've not been a part of the Cotton Row Run, the hill gets you every time.
Right.
And it's on 10K. It's not on the 5K. It's just on the 10K. Hill will get you.
It'll get you. If you ever seen me running, you know it'll get you.
I've seen grown people crawl up the hill sometimes. Yeah. It's pretty big. But good luck to everybody that's taking part in that over the weekend and stuff.
A little bit of an extended blitz today, and then Auburn, they will be taking the diamond for the first time in Hoover. The Auburn Tigers taking on Texas A&M. Please end it for the Aggies, Auburn. And then you've got the Texas Longhorns. They are going to be taking on Tennessee. Let's go Longhorns. You'll never hear me say that again, probably. And then the Georgia Bulldogs lost last night. Steve Moulton's group took it on the chin like mine. Oklahoma still alive against Vandy today.
See you guys Tuesday.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the